The Francis Ford Coppola Winery has become an icon in the American wine game with wines in nearly every price point. You can find Coppola in supermarkets and boutique wine shops and even in Michelin-starred restaurants across the country. What I'm wondering is how can they appeal to all these different markets and make a product that wine snobs know for more than just having a famous founder? So today, I'm headed to Geyserville, California in the Alexander Valley to see how the team behind Coppola uses New World and Old World techniques to keep the product consistent. First up, I'm hanging out with Chief Winemaker Corey Beck, who's been in charge of the operation since the early 1990s. I'll be meeting him at the Coppola Reserve Vineyard, where a team is about to come in and pick grapes for one of their higher-end wines, all by hand.
Hi, I'm Dan, and this is Dan Does.
So what we have here is our Cabernet Sauvignon. These vines were planted in the mid-'80s, right? So long before you were born. We call this the canopy. These leaves, I like to call them solar panels. The sun is hitting here, all the carbohydrates, all the energy is being generated to ripen the sugar. We like to leave a little bit of the leaves as shade, right? So one of the things we have to battle here is with heat. So we get a lot of the afternoon sun that comes over this way. So we'll keep more leaves on this side. And if you look over here on this, there's not a lot of leaves because we've actually pulled those leaves so we can get light penetration because light helps provide color.
What is the window that you can actually pick these grapes?
Right now we're blessed with some cool mornings, which we have here. Anytime you have that, the grapes kind of just calm down a bit. So when it gets to that 100+ range, we have a very short window because they're just ripening so quickly. So you probably have about a 10-day window right now that we can start. Yeah, when it's like this. When it's hot, it's a 2-day window.
Each vine gets its own constant water source, but the grapes are grown on just enough water to survive.
For grapevines, you actually want soil that's gonna stress the hell out of the vines, right? Too fertile, all the growth and everything just keeps growing the grapes.
You want them to fight for it a little bit? Is that what it is?
You do. You want them to struggle a bit so they're not so happy because you don't want these things big and plump.
So they're more flavor dense, I guess?
That's correct.
It's funny because they say wine is a depressant, right? And so much of your job is keeping things miserable.
Exactly.
Before calling in the pick, Corey has to do a final check to make sure the sugar content of the grapes is within the range he wants. If it's too low, they'll have to wait, and if it's too high, the grapes will be used for a lower grade wine or not used at all.
A sample, you probably usually want 100 to 200 berries. Grab about 3 or 4, just like that. Then you're gonna do the best job to crush all of those grapes, okay? Okay, good. Oh boy, heavy hand. Too much juice? Heavy hand there, Dan. It's about 26.8 roughly. We're picking this at the optimal.
What is your
sugar
range? Right in there.
We're typically with Cabernet, we're from 25 to 28.
Can you show me how we would actually handpick these grapes?
We're gonna do that. The goal is to come through and you're gonna set your picking lug down here. This long green, it's called the rachis. You're gonna cut that, drop it in your box.
And you guys have a first aid kit ready, you said?
We do. As soon as you make your first cut, you're on the clock.
Ready?
Yep. There you go.
That was inefficient. I'm sucking right now.
Time.
Not bad?
Not bad at all.
So it's not easy work, this aspect of it, yeah.
No, it's hard. From
here, Corey's gonna give the green light and then call in the pick. The team first goes through and clears away the leaves and then goes through again and blitzes the grapes as fast as they can. Higher quality wines need hand picking to keep out as many leaves as possible and to not disturb the more sensitive branches and trees.
Don't pull anything. So you can see here what Mike's doing, right? He's going through, grabbing out some of the leaves.
Snagging leaves, cleaning up product here for my boys. How long will it take to fill this up?
It's probably full in another half hour.
With just 7 guys?
Just these 7 guys here.
Yeah. Incredible how fast everyone works. Once the vines have been picked, Corey and the team will repair dead plants and make adjustments to the crops based on how the wine comes out. The grapes that were just harvested now head to the crush pit where they will undergo the first stage of processing.
Here's our Cabernet that we just picked. We have our hoist over here. When you pick it up and moving it forward, if you tilt too far, this thing could come crashing down over here.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna hit this button and it's gonna slowly raise these troughs.
Yeah, these bins.
These bins.
Yep. You're gonna slowly raise them and put them in position to, so go ahead. So you, up, yep.
Wow, it's too much power for me.
Isn't that cool?
Are they coming out?
This is the tipping point here. You gotta be very careful. why don't you go in and pick out some of those?
Just go for it?
Yeah. Try and get every last little bit in.
I guess you can be a little rough with it, right?
Oh yeah, dive in there, and I think it's about 20 clusters for a bottle of wine.
Really?
So roughly.
How am I looking?
Right? This is where you want to clean the bends out.
Aren't you adding water to the wine?
So little. It's so little bit. This is just a rinse. Yeah, so the goal is to then you send these back to the vineyard nice and clean with no sugar. And then, depending on if there's tourists around, you give them a shot. Sorry about that. Once we have the grapes here in our hopper, we have our auger that's slowly taking them to where they will get destemmed, and then finally we have our rollers down there which will crush them.
The crushing machine simulates traditional foot stomping. It's meant to be harsh enough to break all the skins, but not too rough to crush the seeds and release their bitterness.
So now everything's getting into our sump here in this pump right now, and you can see through there, taking them in through here into the winery.
A big part of this operation is dealing with all the stems and leaves. Nearly half of these machines are meant to get them back onto a truck to be used as compost for future plots. The crushed grapes and juice are piped off into massive tanks where they will undergo the first stage of fermentation to create alcohol. I'm meeting senior winemaker Andrea Card over at the larger commercial tanks to see what's going on.
I sort of helped. How much will one of these tanks hold? How many?
Well, this is kind of one of our big boys.
Oh, yeah.
So this is going to hold like 55 tons of fruit. So we can only fill it up a certain amount of space, because if we fill it all the way to the top with fermentation, it expands and it gets hotter. It's just like a boiling pot of pasta.
Right.
And so then it'll stay in this tank for probably 10 days to 2 weeks, depending on the fermentation. I like that you find this entertaining.
Wines like Pinot Noir use an open-air fermentation tank, which is helpful for looking at the way they are constantly keeping the grapes moist and aerating the wine. The process we're about to see happens about twice a day.
Andrea, what are you gonna do right now?
I'm gonna turn it on so it starts sprinkling.
Okay, so this is
Is it going?
yeah, it's going.
Okay.
I really thought it was gonna go down and then spin everything, and it turns out it's like Willy Wonka.
The foaming is really part of the fermentation process, the yeast producing CO2. Basically, yeast eat the sugar, convert it to alcohol, burp out CO2. It will form a cap with the skins, as you can kind of see on the top here. And the idea is that we want to make sure that we're getting wine or must juice going through the entire thing. It's a few feet.
There's actually some yeast still hiding in the skin, so constantly running the liquid through it helps not only with color, but to create the last bit of alcohol. So as senior winemaker, Andrea has to taste the wine from every tank multiple times a day to spot imperfections or whatever else might have gone wrong.
So this tank has Cabernet in it. This has fermented all the way down to 3 brix, so it's still not dry, it's still not ready yet, but we'll see what you think of it. So we do swirl the wine, and it's not to be pretentious, it's not to look fancy, it's actually to volatilize the aromatics, and so then you shove your face in it. The idea is that you're smelling if there's anything off, if there's anything amazing, all of those kinds of things. You're looking for all of it.
Interesting. So if there are amazing things, then
we make note of it, and it's like, oh, this is tasting really great. This potentially could go to a different program or go to a higher tier or lower tier, all of those things.
So having many tiers of wine actually gives you a lot of flexibility.
Yeah, so, and then the best part about this is that you get to spit.
Right there?
Yeah. Just don't spit on my boots. As you can see, other people have. Can you imagine tasting all of these tanks every day and forgetting to spit? You wouldn't forget.
No, you wouldn't forget.
Once Andrea thinks the wine has fermented enough, she will give the go-ahead to drain the wine from the tank. From here, the leftover skins and whatever pulp is at the bottom are sent to a bladder press, which is basically a container that fills with a giant balloon to squeeze out excess wine still contained in the skins. From here, the leftover skins are also sent over to the compost. At this point, the wine is the ideal color, sugar level, and alcohol content, so it's ready for barreling. Similar to bourbon, Coppola's wines are put in toasted oak barrels.
So this is whites and reds in here?
Yeah, whites and reds.
Holy shit, this is huge.
So this is the cooper's name and their information, and then it has our information, and then it tells us exactly what type of oak this wood actually is.
The barrels aren't just there to impart wood flavor into the wine, they also give the wine time to undergo what is called secondary fermentation.
Secondary fermentation is changing malic acid, like an apple acid, into lactic acid, and lactic acid is like the milk acid, right? It gives you that creamy flavor. So for red, you're getting like a bigger, better mouth feel, like it's more round, it's more palatable, really.
Alcohol percentage is
The alcohol
not changing
percentage is now stopped.
because there's nothing left for the yeast. There's
no more
yeast.
sugar.
Right.
Now we get to try some wine that's been sitting in the oak barrel for about 1 year.
That's fine, thank you.
Oh, you have enough.
Yeah.
So you can feel the oak influence, right?
Oh yeah,
And
for sure.
And it starts from day one. So in another year, we will then put that into the bottle, and it will mellow and all be super balanced in the mouth.
After the wine is done aging, the barrels are dumped and then rinsed so they can be used again. The final stage is bottling, and today we're getting the chance to see the Claret being bottled, which is by far Coppola's most popular wine.
This is what a consumer would find in the grocery store. So this is like our most well-known wine.
This is one of the big sellers.
Yeah, the most amount of wine that we make is for this label.
They have absolutely no reason to let me do this, but that's Hollywood, baby.
And now slide, pull up.
Yep, you want to hit it. God, it's scary every time.
So the bottles come in here, and they're actually getting gassed right now. And the idea is to drive out any oxygen that might be in the bottle itself. So every single one has a perfect fill level. So that way when it does get corked, it has the right pressure in there and everything is done.
Cork's heading up to the corking system.
Capsule gets spun on.
It's not spinning the bottle, is it? It's just...
It's spinning around and down. And then that guy's tamping it down with like a little rubber bumper. The Claret has this beautiful gold net on the outside, and we had to have special machinery designed just for us to be able to apply it.
One of my favorite parts of seeing these factories is checking out the machines that companies have built specifically to automate a unique style element that you can't find anywhere else on any other product.
So they actually have a two-step process where they spread the net. Oh my God, it's so cool. They spread the nuts out, and then they use like a mold,
like a
form, and then shove them in.
Insert the bottles, and then tighten and twist.
Wait, you've been here 30 years?
38 years.
38 years you've been packaging, you've been running this room?
Yes,
Ever anywhere else or always in this room?
always in this room.
How can you still hear?
I wear earplugs when I'm here.
Jesus, Yolanda.
You just gotta let enough bottles go by, so he's gonna
he's
need
got right.
all of these. Those are all his. You gotta count and pass. Perfect. Now let 6 go by. There's 2, 6. And you're
Okay.
packing right here.
Oh, so that's when you get time to set the box up?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
You're hired.
No, stop. That's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
It's now finally time to try some finished wine. First off, we're going to try the ultra popular Claret, and then we're going to see if we can spot the difference between that and something more exclusive like the line we saw picked this morning.
So you've tried this wine already.
Many times.
Well, I hope you've done well.
Thank you.
I will say it's really hard to actually have watched the work that you guys do and watch you running around and trying all these different things, to not just be like, oh, it's the best wine I've ever had.
So this is our reserve tier. This wine is meant to be a more serious wine.
Whoa, I feel like I taste the whole day. I think if you really invest yourself, now I taste the different parts in that sip. I see the different rooms a little bit.
I love it.
Cheers.
Cheers.